All right, so we're going to talk about the Batman some more. It's a fantastic film. What can I say? Yeah, I just feel like with the way I was doing the Twilight videos, I wanted to give that for the Batman, especially since, we've been on such a Robert Pattinson kick lately that I figured why not. So, this is the Batman.
No, I am.
So the movie opens. It's like a horror movie. You see, the mayor's in his office. It's all darkly lit. It actually is Halloween. So, horror movie. And we see the mayor on the phone, and he's pacing back and forth. And then you just see the Riddler's glasses. It's a phenomenal shot. Like, he just comes in, and he's just hiding in the shadows. And then it mirrors that with Batman. Batman comes in, you hear the opening narration, and he's all like,
Thursday, October 31st.
And then he's like,
I am the shadows.
And then the subway fight. The subway fight is like straight out of Arkham. So he beats up all the guys, but then the guy he goes to save doesn't want his help. He's scary. Okay, so after that, Batman arrives at the crime scene for the mayor. And all the cops are uneasy and they don't want him in there. And they tell Gordon he's lost his mind, and he's like, well, he's with me, so they go in. Batman looks around, and he starts looking at things, and all of a sudden the forensic lady even starts bagging what he's looking at because she missed it, just proving that, like, he's a good detective. And then Gordon finds a note that says to the Batman, and it's the first riddle. All these riddles are kind of dumb, and he's all like, what does a liar do when he dies? He lies still. Like, the dumb riddles. Like, we get into one later that's just funny. I think it's funny. And then the commissioner shows up, and he's all like, why is this guy here? He's a vigilante. And he's like, well, the note is for him. And then he's like, so he's like involved in this? Like, where do you get that? He left a note for him. That doesn't mean he's involved. So then he drops the only F-bomb in the movie where he's like,
happy fucking Halloween.
And everyone's making fun of him. And then Batman looks over and he sees the mayor's son, and he's like, the only thing I could think of is he's like, ooh, an orphan boy. Another Robin to the collection. Because it happens too many times for it not to be like, ooh, time for another orphan boy. Even though, like, he's never had one. That's just what I think when I think of Batman and children. And recruiting underage adolescents into his army against crime. So then Bruce heads back to the Batcave, and he's all like, am I doing enough for the city? And then he's like, all the nights blur together. They all blur. And so he's like, he pulls out contacts that record everything. And so it's also a good way to get evidence without, like, taking it. And without them knowing he has access to it. I think it's pretty good. He keeps a little edgy notebook where he's writing down his little narrations. It's really funny. Alfred shows up and he's like,
the killer left this for the Batman.
He's like, why is it writing to you? And Bruce gets all mean to him. And then Alfred is, there was a codex in the message for the card. So he's like, this is quite elusive, sir. And Alfred's also meeting with the accountants because Bruce is basically going to bleed them dry. So he's got to meet with the accountants to figure out what they can do. And a nice little detail I noticed is Bruce is so not used to being in the sunlight that he has to put sunglasses on just when sunlight enters a room because it's just too bright. How edgy. It's like me putting on my glasses. You know? So they figure out the answer to the codex is not finding all the letters. It's taking out a bunch of them. And it says drive. So Gordon and Batman go to the mayor's car and a garage. And so they find, he's opening the car. He's like, what are you looking for? USB port. And he's like,
Thumb drive.
that's the dumb one I was talking about. It's just, I think I laughed at it in the theater because it was just so bad. So Batman, so they put the thumb drive in Gordon's computer, and it's programmed to send all these pictures of politicians that are supposed to not be at the Iceberg Lounge to press. And then Batman's like, time to go to the Iceberg Lounge. And then we get that fight that's like out of Arkham City. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's like the challenge room. That's what I took from it. And I think that it's a pretty good fight. And then Oz showed up. He's like, whoa, take it easy, sweetheart. So they go into his office, and I was like, this is like real, like, comic vibes. And so they start talking, and Selina walks in. And then Batman looks at her like he's never seen a woman before in his life. Because he's an incel. So a nice little detail I noticed is he starts calling him Vengeance. The Penguin starts calling him Mr. Vengeance. It's all to mock him. And I think, like, it's just like a snappy little thing that, like, maybe, like, could normally happen. And I thought it was a nice touch. And then we get, like, one of the... Colin Farrell, like, steals this movie just by doing random shit. So Batman realizes Selina's being kind of shady, or he's a freak and follows her. I think he's just kind of fascinated by her, and he's being a freak. And so he follows her back to her apartment because he's a freak. And then she goes there, and then she leaves again, and then she goes as Catwoman. And we get a nice shot of, like, the little cat ears, and then they have a little fight. They have a cute little fight, and there's a lot of sexual tension. We learn that Catwoman has been helping one of the girls that was spotted in the photo. So someone shows up, and Batman and Selina hide behind a wall, and it's very sexual, as you can imagine. We learn that Catwoman is trying to get Annika out of town, and Batman and Catwoman head back to her house to talk to Annika, but the place is trashed and Annika is missing. And then we see on the news in her apartment that the commissioner has been killed by the Riddler, and the Riddler has started posting online that he's been killing people. We had to see Catwoman drink milk, and I think it's funny for no reason. There's a lot to get through here, so we're kind of gonna plow through some shit. So Batman and Gordon then go to the morgue to examine the commissioner's body. There's a note left, and they learn the commissioner is corrupt in selling drugs. It says, basically the riddle says, find the rat and bring him into the light. We'll come back to that later. So now Batman heads back to Selina. There's a lot of back and forth here. And asks her to go into the Iceberg Lounge with the contacts on so Batman can see what's going on in the secret club where all, like, the VIPs hang out. So they go, he gets her to do it. And then the creepy DA starts hitting on Selina and won't leave her alone. It's really whack. And then, like, he's not even supposed to be there. Like, keep a low profile. Why are you doing this? They allude to the Maroney case, which was like the biggest bust in Gotham. Batman wants to know who the rat was in the case. The DA says it could ruin the identity. The identity could ruin a lot of what the city is. Selina then sees Falcone and she gets a little nervous. Selina is his daughter. I'm just gonna spoil it now, but he like flirts with her constantly and it's gross. I don't like it. I know he doesn't know, but he's too old already to be doing it. So Batman doesn't know that they're father or daughter, and he just knows this relationship, and he's kind of jealous, like a jealous boyfriend already. It's a little whack. Creepy dude is then taken by the Riddler. Batman talks to Gordon, and they realize that Riddler is targeting corrupt officials that were involved in the Maroney takedown. So then the next day, Bruce decides that he is going to attend the public memorial for the commissioner because he believes that killers like to see the aftermath of their crime. He thinks the Riddler might not be able to resist. So Alfred solves another codex, and it says El Rata Alata, which means a flightless bird or something. And then Bruce is mean to Alfred and saying more stuff about how he's not in Wayne. This man needs to show some respect. He taught him how to fight in this universe. He raised him. What is happening? Why are you so mean? So they're at the funeral. Bruce meets Falcone and they talk for a minute. He's like, oh, your father saved my life or whatever the fuck. So then, and then Batman spies a little boy. And he's like, ooh, another Robin. I'm gonna take you. And then we get like big boom, car comes in, like that, like, and they realize it's the DA. He wasn't killed. He's strapped with a bomb on his neck. And Batman then comes in. Bruce goes to make a quick change, Batman comes in, and the Riddler calls and starts live streaming everything that's happening. Riddler, heavy breathe, talks like how Kristen Stewart likes to breathe act. That's what it reminded me of. It all goes back to Twilight, And that makes me so happy. It comes full circle, So Batman fails to save the DA from failing the 3 riddles, and boom, bomb blows up in Batman's face, and he's unconscious, wakes up in the police station, and the cops start like assaulting him, like they're trying to take his mask off. And I appreciate this, a cop dares grab the ears of the cowl. And it's the funniest shit. And then we get probably my favorite line. Like, I don't know, like I say this in public all the time. We meet a man. I don't know what his role is in the police department, but he's got a body and a voice that do not match. And he's like, I'll have you for assaulting an officer. And then Batman comes back with,
I've been on assaulting 3.
It's so funny. Like, unintentional. So then, Batman has to figure out how to get out of the police station. So Gordon convinces the cops to leave so they can talk for a moment, and Gordon's like, we gotta get you out of this. And they start having a little whispering contest, and they're getting really close to each other, and I just really thought they were gonna kiss, and they didn't.
Who's the mustache with the broken nose? It's Kinsey Narcotics.
So Batman punches him in the face, and he runs away. He gets the wingsuit. That's pretty cool. He eats shit I think that's pretty fun. It's a nice little detail that he's like in his second year and he's like not perfect. Gordon says, you could have at least pulled your punch. And Batman goes, I did. So then they come to the conclusion that Penguin might be the rat in the Maroney case. So Batman and Gordon go to tell Penguin. And they end up at a warehouse where they find Selina. Selina and Batman have a weird conversation because they're two awkward, attractive people in love. But so, like, who really gives a shit? Penguin sees them and starts shooting at them. Batman gets in the Batmobile, and you just hear that engine howl, bro. The thing howls. And then you get, like, the most impressive car chase that I've seen in a movie in years. I was excited for it going into the movie, and watching it, like, it lived up. So they manage to catch up to Penguin. You get that upside down shot. Beautiful. Penguin tells them that El Rata isn't correct in Spanish after they capture him. And it's really URL.
What are you showing me? His head. Come on! Open your eyes!
Another one. Riddler seems to like this really shit wordplay, and I'm not a fan of it. So Batman and Gordon then head to an orphanage. They learn the next target is Bruce Wayne. Batman rushes back to Wayne Manor. And when Batman calls to warn them, they realize he's already too late, and Alfred is now... A bomb went off and Alfred is in a coma. It's really sad. Selina asks to meet with Batman. Selina reveals Falcone is her father and that her mother was murdered when she was young. She asks for help going after Falcone. They kiss. It's very hot, very steamy. And then she just leaves. Because she's such a baddie. Riddler then broadcasts a video essay exposing Thomas and Martha Wayne and Martha's mental state and their relationship with Falcone. Bruce then goes to see Falcone at the Iceberg Lounge to get the full story because his parents are dead. I will say, I appreciate that every time that we go to the Iceberg Lounge, he enters in a new way. Like, keeps it fresh and keeps you engaged. So then Bruce gets the tea from Falcone. Also, I just want to point out, like, why is every villain in a Batman movie in a Robert Pattinson movie? Why is every villain in a Robert Pattinson movie Italian? The Volturi, Falcone. This man doesn't like Italians. You heard it here first. This is an exclusive. Robert Pattinson hates Italians. So he gets the tea. He goes back to Alfred. Alfred wakes up from his coma and then sees his surrogate son sleeping by his bedside and, like, can't help but smile. And it's, like, really touching. And then Bruce just interjects with,
You lied to me.
So then Alfred tells Bruce that he believes it was actually Falcone that killed his parents, not Maroney. Because Falcone said Maroney did it. Alfred thinks it was Falcone the whole time. And so then Bruce says some wacky emo shit again that would make Edward Cullen pretty proud. Made me pretty proud as an emo boy. And it's in that he's not afraid to die and that he thought he conquered fear. Batman and Gordon see the signals lit. None of them lit it. It was Selina. Selina has one of the corrupt cops. And they find out how everything all connects. Falcone had her killed and Selina's mother killed. Selina heads back to the Iceberg Lounge to seek vengeance. You know, vengeance. Like they say in the movie. A lot. Batman tries to stop her. This fight is pretty intense because you have the race against time to stop Selina from killing Falcone. And Batman not being able to just walk right in. Batman. manages to stop Selena from killing him. They arrest Falcone and bring him under the light, where he is shot and killed, bringing the rat into the light, revealing Falcone is the rat in the Maroni case. Boom. Batman and the GCPD race up to the sniper's position, and it's Riddler's apartment. They end up finding Riddler at a diner close by, and he willingly surrenders. We get the interrogation scene, which I really like, by the way. I don't think it's aping the Heath Bale one. I think it's his own thing, and I like it. And then Batman, it's revealed that Riddler thought him and Batman were in cahoots, and they weren't, obviously. And he thought they were friends. And then we get the memes.
No! This is not how this was supposed to go!
So Riddler alludes to a big finale. Batman heads back to Riddler's apartment to learn what the final act of the movie is. Batman sees Riddler's tuber side.
Hey guys.
And then boom, dam floods as soon as he hears the information that they're gonna flood the dams. Then we go to this Gotham Stadium, big fight. We get the big fight. We get the grappling hook. We get the thing that I've always thought of is, why don't we shoot him in that big old fucking mouth part? Because I get all this is covered, but you have the mouth, and nobody ever just like boom, you know. So Catwoman saves him before that happens. Bruce takes drugs because edgy, and he orgasms, as Twitter is putting it, and almost beats a guy to death. Batman then naturally asks who they are, and he's like, "We're vengeance. And so Batman's like, "Oh shit, electrical wire's gonna come down and electrocute the flooded stadium," because the dam exploded and it flooded everything, and their first thought was go to a stadium that goes downward. It's pretty dumb. So Batman cuts the wire and falls, and it's meant to be like death and rebirth, because he can no longer be vengeance. We love our symbolism. We love Jesus. Happy Easter, everybody. And then I really like the shot of Batman lighting the flare and then leading everyone out of the darkness into the light. More symbolism. We love it. We love our symbolism here. So Batman realizes he can't be vengeance anymore, and he has to be a beacon of hope for the city. I really like the narration at the end and how it's just so drastically different from the beginning. It's like a great character arc for a first film, and I'm excited to see what they do next, because they tackled the vengeance thing already. We get the weird Joker scene that I hate. I hate the look. I don't like it. I have another video on it. Go check that out. On the deleted scene. Please. It has like 8 views. I'd appreciate it. And then Selena ends up leaving Gotham, and Batman returns to protecting the city. That's the Batman. The Batman is probably going to be the best film of 2022 for me. I know Doctor Strange is right around the corner. I'm really dating this, but I think as a film, as it's put together, I don't think anything will really top it. I'm excited for a sequel. I'm nervous about what's going to happen and if they can even top this, because this was really good. I know a lot of people don't like it because it's like too long or whatever. I like it a lot, but I hope you enjoyed. I promise Breaking Dawn Part 2 is coming for those who care. It's coming. I got wisdom teeth out. Couldn't do it. So you'll get it soon. I swear.